What's up, guys? How's it going? Did you miss me? And by you, I mean the 17 people that actually watch these things. Anyway, I'm back. Sort of. Maybe. We'll see. So October 17th was the 1-year anniversary of my move to Nashville. And it's been an interesting journey. There were some pretty serious bumps along the way, but also some really big successes. And while everything isn't rainbows and butterflies, I don't regret the move. A quick recap, I made the decision to move to Nashville in September of 2016 for a few reasons. But the main reason was to be closer to family while still working music. Spent the next few weeks putting out soft feelers for gigs, only to find out at the end of October of that year that my job, along with several others, was moving to Nashville. 11 months later, I uprooted everything and moved across the country with a promotion. 5 months later, I was promoted again. On paper, this looks amazing. New city, 2 job promotions within a 6-month period, bigger apartment, but everybody sees the beauty on the surface, but not what it took to get there. They didn't see the 60-hour work weeks that left little to no time for creativity, which, as a creative, sent me spiraling down into a bit of a depression. In a town much smaller and slower than I'm used to, in a part of the country that considers the Civil War the war of northern aggression. Not to mention that I made the decision to move 2 months before the 2016 election turned this country into the twilight zone. Granted, some of these things are first world problems, but it doesn't invalidate the struggle. And it's also hard to free fall into the unknown when your comfort zone is so cozy. Even if you're going through it, at least the pain is familiar. But I ran forth. Yeah, there was some kicking and screaming along the way, but I still kept going. It took a lot of self-analysis, a few tantrums, and a lot of come-to-Jesus moments to get here. And while I have a ways to go, things are stabilizing, and I'm feeling more like myself again. But there are a few things that I've learned over the past year that have shifted my perspective on life. Number 1, growth and comfort are rarely in the same room. I remember walking through the airport when I first landed, completely in a daze like, what did I just do? And this saying is really the only thing that kept me calm. And thankfully, God gives us little nuggets along the way, like running into my boy Charles in baggage claim like 3 minutes later, and seeing my god sister a couple days later. And shout out to the homie Marlena for letting me rent a room while I found my place. We can cling to that comfort zone for dear life to the point where they have to claw it from our cold, dead hands. But what good does that do if we don't chase after the very reason we were placed here? The old saying rings true here. Pressure makes diamonds. Because no one has ever risen to their fullest potential by keeping the status quo. Don't let fear keep you from doing and being everything that you're supposed to. Number 2, allow yourself to feel all the emotions. As much as my friends in LA thought that I was blissfully fleeing the city, most of that was a front in an attempt to find comfort in the grown-up decision that I made. And in the weeks after the move, I was a mess. I knew I was doing the right thing, but my emotions were kicking my tail. But like the old saying goes, the only way out is the way through. A lot of our stress and anger as humans comes from holding things in. Now, this isn't me telling you to go wild out and burn something down, but allow yourself to feel all the emotions of life. And the key is to channel it into something productive. For me, I channel my frustrations into my creativity, which is why I was depressed during the months that I wasn't creating. For you, it may be running or boxing, painting or sculpture, keeping a journal, talking it out with friends, or a therapist. Whatever you have to do, don't keep things in, because stress literally kills. Number 3, nothing in this life worth having comes easy. This applies on a ton of different levels and especially rings true for me now. Like with my personal time. Because I often work late and because everything closes so friggin' early in this town, I find myself having to literally schedule time to run errands, grocery shop, work out, and even create. And there are weeks and sometimes months where I'll slack off for whatever reason, whether it's a lack of motivation or just exhaustion. And also with my weight, as you can tell from these chubby cheeks, Rufus has been living his best life. I can see now that I took LA for granted with all its healthy food and fitness options, now that I'm in a region of the country where fried food is king and the produce goes bad within 36 hours, if it isn't already spoiled in the store. And that's not an exaggeration. And let's just say you won't find this black man hiking through the woods of Tennessee. So I'm looking for alternative ways to get back on my health kick, since I don't want to go back to being this guy. It won't be easy, especially now that I'm getting older and my metabolism is laughing at me. But no pain, no gain. Sure, it's easier to put things off, and sometimes you have to for a little while in order to survive. But you won't get any closer to your goals by staying there. Like with plants, they grow when you take care of them and die when you don't. So bite the bullet and get to it, because life is too short to procrastinate. Number 4, cherish and cultivate your relationships. While LA is no longer my place of residence, it'll always be home. And that's in large part to the family that I have there, the true friendships that I built over the last 10 years. Even though LA is one of the most vapid cities on the face of the planet, I met some of the most genuine, loving, and caring people there. These are people that helped shape the man that I've become, and I never want to lose them from my life, ever. Thankfully, we have phone calls and texting and even FaceTime to keep us connected, and I will drive or book a flight without a second thought. And at the same time, being in Nashville gives me the benefit of seeing my family more. I've seen my family more in the last year than I did in the 9.5 years I was in LA. We're repairing relationships we never knew we neglected. I'm getting closer to my sisters, I'm watching my nephews grow up. While I put a lot of miles on my Corolla in the last 12 months, it's a small price to pay to be with the ones you love. Literally, because it's faster and cheaper to get to them. That being said, this move has taught me to be more intentional with my relationships. If someone crosses your mind, give them a call or shoot them a text. Check in regularly to see how they're doing. Take regular trips to visit your friends and family, or even plan vacations with them. Don't let your geographic location dictate the direction your relationships take. We all need our tribes, wherever they are. And we're losing people daily, so don't put off until tomorrow what you could do today. And last but not least, number 5, find the peace in the midst of chaos. Last month was really hard for me and my family. We lost my god sister in Memphis, then my older cousin in Milwaukee 3 days later, and on our way to Wisconsin for the funeral, we found out that my 3-month-old baby cousin passed in Chicago. Now I've lost a lot of people over my life, and the way that I process death is very different from most people. But to say this was a struggle is a severe understatement. I know it's cliche to say God works in mysterious ways, but he really does. And I'm thankful that I could get to everybody really quickly, in a way that I wouldn't have been able to in LA. It's really strange that going through this crazy time actually brought me peace in my decision and my reasons for moving. Which brings me to today and this lengthy recollection of my last year. I truly believe God led me here for a multitude of reasons, some of which I figured out, but many of which I haven't. And we all have free will choice, so I didn't necessarily have to take the leap, but I've learned over my brief 32 years of life that resisting change is the quickest way to death. And I want to live. Thanks for watching. I know this video was long overdue. Now I can't promise that I'll be back on a weekly basis like I was before, but I can promise that whatever I do release will be purposeful and not just to keep a schedule. My goal for the foreseeable future is to take steps to improve myself not only as a man, but as a creative. I'm wrapping up a 30-day photo challenge on Instagram. You can check that out at Chi City Soulstar, and I'm about to start a 30-day short video challenge. So follow me. Why not? I'm also brainstorming ways on jumping back into the consulting game. You can check out my work at orondejenkins.com. And at some point in the very near future, I'm gonna jump back into music. So look out for that as well. Basically, I don't want to float through life sitting on my gifts. It's my duty to share them with the world, so that's the goal.